Hey guys, Krzysztof the Polish Geek here, and welcome to another movie review. And we're talking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Like, first let me make it clear, I loved the first Into the Spider-Verse movie, and for the time being I thought it was the best Spider-Man movie ever made, but after giving it another watch after years, I realized I still thought the Tobey Maguire trilogy are the best take on Spider-Man. And yes, I even loved the last Spider-Man 3 movie that most people seem to hate, but I love all three of them. But I still loved Into the Spider-Verse nonetheless. And I thought Miles Morales was a great character. And I loved the comic style animation. So, what did I think of this sequel? I have to say, I truly loved it. And I think it's so much better than the first movie in every way. It did everything that was amazing about the first movie and took it to the whole next level. Like, the sequel is great. It's phenomenal. And I have to say, for example, among other things, there's so many amazing things. Like, I love the story of this movie. Like, it was even way deeper than the story of the first movie. And it's not to say the story of the first movie was not deep. It already was pretty deep. But I think this story here was much deeper. And I love the family dynamic, because this is very much a personal family story of Miles Morales and his parents. So yes, I loved that sort of how the movie explored a deep relationship between Miles Morales and his parents, and in some ways it also was relatable, because basically that's how often many of us, when we were teenagers, we had that type of relationship with our parents when we didn't have confidence to tell them everything, while they desperately wanted to talk to us. So that personal story of Miles Morales and his parents, that was done very well. And it's not even over. Like, there was no payoff yet, which makes me even more excited. And also, I also love how we get more information about Gwen Stacy, the Spider-Woman. Like, in the first movie, she was just like a Spider-Woman and Miles' love interest from a different dimension, but that's pretty much it. Here though, we learn much more about her personal life in her dimension, and that was also pretty great. And another thing I have to talk about is the animation here was also excellent, and the fact that as we were changing different dimensions of different universe, the animation was very much changing. It was always comic book style, but each time characters switch dimension and animation changed to a different style, and I thought that was really great, especially all those animations felt so alive and literally like a comic book come to life. Yeah, I love that simply. And there were many cameos, and even there was one I mentioned that was live action actually, which was pretty funny. Plus, another thing I have to talk about that I loved in this movie is the different cameos. Although, admittedly, cameos weren't really as much of an amazing thing as the story itself. Because, yes, cameos are fun, but a good story should be a priority. And in this movie, it felt very much a priority. Because if you remove all the cool cameos that the movie has done, the story would still be equally great. Which speaks of good storytelling, because when you do good storytelling, you don't really need cameos. Like, a movie shouldn't be good because of cameos. It should be good because of likable characters and a great story, and that's a perfect example of that. And I also love the new villain, Spot. Like, he, I think, was pretty excellent. I love how he had a personal dynamic story with Miles Morales, and honestly, that personal backstory also very much relates to the fact that Miles Morales became new Spider-Man in his dimension in the first place, and that's also pretty cool backstory in its own right. And then also, in addition to that, Spot, as I said, he started out as one of those comedy villains that feel so incompetent and you only laugh, but then he actually graduates over time into a very dangerous villain. And yeah, that was done very greatly, and I love that. And I also loved his design too, and I loved how he could be able to switch dimensions simply because of his body and nothing else. Yep, his body was basically a living portal and was able to cross dimensions. So yeah, I thought the new villain was great. And another spoiler, yes, the movie ended on a huge cliffhanger. Like, they were basically implying that there will be two parts of the movie, and yes, this is very much true. And the cliffhanger, it's not like just the type of cliffhanger that just like kind of solves parts of the story but opens up some new ones. No, this is very much a type of cliffhanger of, oh really? That's where they are ending? Jeez, yep, this is that type of cliffhanger. And in addition, even literally when the movie ended and the line "to be continued" appeared, I literally for the first few seconds I thought, oh well, now I have to wait another week for the next episode before I reminded myself that I'm actually watching a cinematic movie, which means that yes, we are sadly going to wait whole year for the resolution of the story. But oh well, I'm looking forward to it now because, as I said, the movie was great. It was much better than the first, which says a lot because the first one was already pretty great. And I'm really wondering where they're gonna go with it. I'm really wondering what happens next. And I'm really hoping for an awesome payoff. Because I'm the type of guy that actually loves cliffhangers. And yeah, I know some people hate cliffhangers, but I personally love them as long as they get resolved. And so I'm really looking forward to see what happens. Even though we will sadly have to wait a whole year for it. And if a third movie, which will basically be a continuation of the story that just ended open-ended here, if the third movie delivers and pays off wonderfully, this trilogy has a potential to become like one of those best animated franchises. It will have a huge chance to join the ranks of How to Train Your Dragon and Toy Story as the best animated franchises. Yeah, it even has a potential to actually outdo Toy Story. That's right. If the third movie pays off, I think this will totally outdo Toy Story. Not sure if it will outdo How to Train Your Dragon, which is, by the way, my favorite animated trilogy, but it has a very high chance of outdoing Toy Story if only third movie pays off. And also, now the idea of those movies being better than Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's is back on the table, because we'll just see how it goes. But overall, I strongly recommend Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I thought the movie was great, and now I'm really debating which animated movie of the year is the best. Suzume, Super Mario Bros. Or Across the Spider-Verse. But for now, I'm either going with Suzume or Across the Spider-Verse. But yeah, Across the Spider-Verse was a great movie and I strongly recommend it. And if you love the first movie, you should really be pleased with this one, because this movie, in my opinion, is a perfect or proper example of how to do a sequel that improves on everything the original has done great. So yeah. Okay guys, thank you for watching this video. Press the like button, please subscribe to this channel, and I will talk to you soon in another video. Talk to you later, bye!